Wow, Dmitry Bivol finally responds to Canelo Alvarez and his team back in negotiations with Caleb Plant. And they said, wait, I'm going to tell you what they said in this video. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Throw a like on the video. It goes a long way when you guys do that. So smash the like button, subscribe to the channel to notify the others that the content is hot, what you're looking for in the world of boxing. This is your one-stop shop for all your boxing needs. I am Boxingego. Let's get into it. The Athletic spoke to Dmitry Bivol's team regarding the article that says breaking, and I made a video about this. Listen, guys, this is why you gotta subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest. We go over all this. I go over all this information in real time so you don't miss a thing. If you are interested in the sport of boxing, subscribe. Now, Canelo Alvarez, it was just announced officially through Eddie Hearn and other reports, ESPN, that he's not fighting on the quote-unquote Mexican dates, which is already a bad look, and I'll talk about that more later. Now he's redirected his focus on November as a date, and it says he's back to talking about Caleb Plant. As you guys see, Canelo Alvarez, Caleb Plant talks for November bout back on. So it's like, why is this man bouncing all over the place? Dmitry Bivol's team did see this and responded to all of it. Says, statement from Bivol's manager, Vadim, as Canelo turns his attention back to Caleb Plant bout. Quote, I understand the Plant fight, of course, has the legacy factor, but I do believe that at this point, most fans found the Bivol fight more interesting compared to Plant specifically. I don't know that that's true, but of course, I mean, that's his fighter, so that's what he's going to say. He goes on, when the fight is intriguing and either guy can win, it makes it more attractive for everybody. Team Canelo will have to decide whether they will sacrifice certain things in order to get the undisputed claim, and they will have to sacrifice, continued. They will have to sacrifice even if they do it in November, or they could stay independent and make the moves they want, but this might involve taking on riskier opponents as there are not many options remaining out there. Oh my gosh. So Ego Stradamus strikes again. You guys continue to see it. Now Bivol's team is saying what I've been telling you. The walls are closing in. He's basically saying that. He says this will involve Canelo taking on riskier opponents as there are not many options remaining out there. So basically he's saying the walls are closing in. The new weight brackets that he's fighting at, the fights are riskier opponents that he could realistically fight that would, especially when we're talking about generating money. Bivol's team says, quote, I am sure at some point we will be talking again, but I suspect it will be a different conversation. This time it was a done deal. Wow. So this confirms previous reports that Canelo and Bivol, they had agreed to fight in September 18th, right? At a catch weight. So Bivol was going to drop down more pounds than he has to as a light heavyweight champion, and Canelo still left him in the dust. And now is back talking to Caleb Plant. Oh man, the walls are closing in for Canelo Alvarez, people. There's nothing else that you could say. Listen, I told you, you got to look for patterns. The pattern is Canelo's negotiations are always this extenuated period that takes a lot of time. And recent times, since he's been with DAZN, they have frequently fell apart. This happened to Caleb Smith. It happened to Billy Joe Saunders. It happened to Kovalev. Even though he did eventually fight those guys, initially there were these long, laborious negotiations that ultimately fell apart at some point. Then he had negotiations with Derevyanchenko that fell apart. He did this to Triple G in the past, where Triple G wanted to fight, and they were saying Triple G has to sign the contract by a deadline, otherwise the fight is canceled. Everything I'm saying is well documented. This was when Canelo, the Golden Boy, the new Golden Boy, was with Golden Boy, right? This was when they were trying to fight Triple G in a rematch. And Oscar De La Hoya, he said, Canelo's moving on. He's going to fight Saunders or somebody else. because Triple G didn't accept the offer by the deadline. And then Oscar said, okay, we'll send I'm going to send a Hail Mary offer to Triple G. And if that doesn't do it, then it's over, right? And then allegedly De La Hoya offered up some of his own money to help pay for Triple G to give him more money that he was looking for, something like that. And you can look all this stuff up. I promise you, you will be able to find it. So the walls are closing in. The walls are closing in definitely on Canelo Alvarez. So it's bad business no matter what. Like, people keep saying this A side this and A side that, but he's not generating all these lights, all these dancers and stuff, a beautiful ring walk. That's cool. He's not generating the amount of money that he once did. Any business that wants to stay in business, it's all about the bottom line. It's always about money. Listen, I'm a straight shooter. If I do videos that did not pay me and did not pay me handsomely, then I couldn't just be a full-time YouTuber and dedicate all my time to covering boxing. You know why? Because I have bills just like every other American, and it would not work. This is a bad look for Canelo Alvarez, bro, because his star power is fading, right? Which, listen, I'll show you. Canelo Saunders viewership, or let me say live gate, right? Boom. Canelo had 66,000 people in attendance, and his live gate was 9 million. Like almost flat 9 million, not even like 9.9, almost to 10. You had that many people in the audience and your live gate was that. Versus you look at, they think Canelo's the Mexican Mayweather. Mayweather, Pacquiao, live gate. And this is extreme because this is the best one. Floyd's live gate with Pacquiao was $72 million. That's ridiculous, right? You could look at other top live gates in Vegas, right? Let's scroll down a little bit because, all right. Joe Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins fought at the Thomas and Mack Center in 2008, right? 14,000 people were there and they did 11 million gate. What is this telling you? These are the top gates of all time. So it wouldn't be bad if Canelo wasn't getting paid so much, because like, imagine whatever Joe Calzaghe and Bernard Hopkins got. They probably got a few million. So they only had 14,000 people against Canelo's 66,000 people, right? And they generated that type of money, more money than Canelo Saunders. So it's showing you, just like I've been telling you, Bivol's manager just told you, that the options are running out for Canelo, right? The options are running out for Canelo to do what's right. It's like he has to, right? You can compare Canelo's own numbers. Look, Canelo versus Gennady Golovkin, he did a $24 and $27 million gate, right? So his Golovkin fights were successful in 2017 and 2018. But these days, his numbers are a lot flatter. And now he's having to justify these moves that he's making on a whim. And this is the tweet he put out. He says, does not matter the day I fight. The day my fight is the day for all us Mexicans. And he put the Mexico flag, right? So now he's claimed, and I show you, and I'll show you again, and I showed you in the previous video. Now he says it doesn't matter what day I fight. Whatever day I fight is the day for Mexicans. But previously he said he wanted to take the Mexican dates from Floyd Mayweather. So now he's changing and breaking his own rules. Ring Magazine, Canelo Alvarez wants to take the Mexican dates from Floyd Mayweather. You know, previously he said these things. Canelo Alvarez looking to take back the Mexican dates from Mayweather. Canelo wants to fight on the two big Mexican dates in 2015, but it's going to take Floyd Mayweather giving them away for it to happen. So this is what Canelo said. Obviously, those dates are important. They're Mexican dates. I want to recoup that. I want to recuperate those dates and take them back to the Mexican people. There should always be a Mexican fighting on those dates. This is Canelo's own words, bro. It is over. There should always be a Mexican fighting on those dates. That's what he said. His words, not ego. His words. I've always wanted to fight on Cinco de Mayo on September 16th. With me being a Mexican national, right? Canelo's words, those are dates that have always celebrated and the dates that my countrymen have celebrated. So I'm excited that I can now finally fulfill my dreams of continuing that tradition that many great fighters laid out. The plan and the tradition is to fight on May 5th and September. So I'm excited to give the fans what they want to see. This was obviously years ago when he said this, but he said it multiple times. And then he tried to rally the troops, and instill that Mexican pride in fans. Now, fast forward to the future, he's gotten big headed. He said, it does not matter the day I fight. The day my fight is the day y'all get it. And that's the day for all us Mexicans. So now he's saying basically whenever I fight is a national holiday for Mexicans. But you said the traditional dates in May, first week of May, second week of September, those were the days that you wanted to give back to your people. And then you keep playing these games at the negotiating table. So this keeps happening. Saul is focused on returning to November. So Canelo is Willie Beeman of boxing. Right? He's just making up the plays as he goes. And this is a bad look. And now you see it from people like Bivol. Bivol said, the negotiations, I'm sure we'll talk again, but it's going to be different at that point. We had a done deal. So it's the same thing with PBC. He can negotiate with Caleb Plant, but now Canelo looks bad even in that situation, which I'll talk about more, because PBC has leverage. They gave you everything they could and you wanted more. And then you said you were walking and now you're crawling back to the negotiations. Bad business. It looks sloppy. It looks messy, especially if you're supposed to be the A side. Boom. That's how you get it done. Use my link in the description. Get a TUBEBUDDY. TUBEBUDDY is an awesome way to make money on this YouTube platform. Subscribe, like the video, all that good stuff. I'm out.